When does enough become a word that simply doesn't exist in your organizational vocabulary? And what does it say about the Dodgers' absolute refusal to leave anything to chance that they've already signed the best closer in baseball and are now hunting for an all-star setup man just to make sure no lead is ever safe for their opponents? Good afternoon, Dodger Nation. It's Thursday, January 8th, 2026, and if you thought the Dodgers were done building their bullpen after locking down Alex Vesia and Buster Gratterall this morning, if you thought spending $6.38 million on arbitration deals was the end of their relief pitching moves, then you need to sit down for this one. Because according to a fascinating report from TJ Morin at the Sporting News, the Los Angeles Dodgers aren't just building a bullpen. They're constructing what can only be described as a super bullpen. Relief corps so dominant, so suffocating, that opposing teams might as well pack it in after the sixth inning. And the final piece of this nightmare puzzle has a name: Trevor Medgel, the all-star closer from the Milwaukee Brewers. Let's set the stage here, because the context is absolutely critical. In this timeline, the Dodgers have already signed Edwin Diaz, who the report describes as the best reliever in the sport. If you've ever watched Diaz pitch, you know exactly what that means. The entrance music, the triple-digit fastball, the slider that makes hitters look like they're swinging pool noodles. He's electric, he's dominant, and he's already in a Dodgers uniform. For most teams, signing the best closer in baseball would be the end of the story. Mission accomplished. Bullpen solidified. But Andrew Friedman isn't most general managers, and the Dodgers aren't most teams. Because while everyone else is celebrating, Friedman is already on the phone, plotting his next move. And that move is Trevor Medgel. According to the report, with most of the impact free agent relievers already off the market, the Dodgers are turning their attention to the trade market, and Medgel is the target. Let's talk about what he brings to the table, because this isn't just some random reliever. Trevor Medgel just had a career year in 2025. He notched 30 saves, posted a 2.49 ERA, and had a 0.96 whip. Those are elite numbers. Those are closer numbers. And the Dodgers want to use him as their eighth inning setup man. Let me say that again. They want to use a guy who saved 30 games as their setup man. That's not roster construction. That's psychological warfare. Think about what this means for opposing teams. You're facing the Dodgers in a playoff game. You've somehow managed to keep it close through 6 innings. You're down by a run, maybe 2. You got a chance. And then the 7th inning rolls around. And here comes Alex Vesia, the left-handed flamethrower who attacks hitters with high-octane stuff. You survive that. Then the 8th inning arrives. And here comes Trevor Medgel, a guy who saved 30 games last year, throwing gas and painting corners. You somehow scratch out a hit or 2, but you don't score. And then the 9th inning starts, and the lights dim, the music hits, and Edwin Diaz walks out of the bullpen. At that point, you're not just facing a closer. You're facing inevitability. You're facing the end. That's what the Dodgers are building. That's what a super bullpen looks like. The report makes a crucial point about why this matters. Having Diaz and Medgel to close out games would be elite for the Dodgers, especially when their offense is so explosive. The other team wouldn't have a chance at a comeback. And that's the key insight here. The Dodgers already have one of the best offenses in baseball. They've got Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, and potentially Cody Bellinger or Kyle Tucker on the way. When you score 6 or 7 runs a game, you don't need your bullpen to be perfect. You just need them to be good enough. But when your bullpen is elite, when you got 3 shutdown relievers who can lock down the final 3 innings, suddenly every lead is safe. Suddenly a 2-run advantage in the 6th inning feels like a 10-run lead. That's the competitive advantage the Dodgers are chasing. And let's address the elephant in the room. The report notes that the Dodgers bullpen was lackluster last season. Now, by most standards, their bullpen was fine. But by Dodger standards, by championship standards, fine isn't good enough. They want elite. They want dominant. They want a bullpen that makes opposing managers throw their lineup cards in frustration. And that's exactly what they're building. With Vija and Gratterall locked in for the middle innings, Medjugorje handling the eighth, and Diaz slamming the door in the ninth, the Dodgers would have one of the deepest, most talented bullpens in baseball history. Their starters would only need to give them 5 or 6 quality innings. After that, it's game over. Now, let's talk about the cost, because acquiring Trevor Medjugorje isn't going to be free. He's making $6.5 million, which is actually very reasonable for a closer of his caliber. So the financial cost isn't the issue. The issue is what the Brewers are going to want in return. Milwaukee just lost Freddie Peralta in our earlier discussions, or at least they're in the process of trading him. They're rebuilding. They're stockpiling young talent. So if the Dodgers want Medjugorje, they're going to have to part with prospects. Not top-tier blue-chip prospects. Medjugorje isn't worth that. But solid mid-level prospects who can contribute to Milwaukee's rebuild. And the Dodgers have those. They've got depth in their farm system, even after all the moves they've made. So if Friedman believes Medjugorje is a final piece to a championship bullpen, he'll make the deal. The report also makes an interesting connection to Tommy Edman, noting that acquiring Medjugorje would be a massive upgrade from Tommy Edman. Now, that's a bit of an apples to oranges comparison. Edman is a position player, Medjugorje is a reliever, but the broader point is valid. The Dodgers are looking for upgrades across the board. They're not satisfied with good. They want great. They want elite. And if they can build a bullpen that features Diaz, Medjugorje, Vija, and Gratterall, they'll have exactly that. Let's talk about the strategic brilliance of this move, because it's not just about adding talent. It's about shortening the game. In modern baseball, the team that can consistently get 27 outs with fewer pitchers has a massive advantage. If your starter can give you 6 innings, and your bullpen can lock down the final 3, you're in great shape. But if your starter can only give you 5, or if your middle relievers are shaky, suddenly you're burning through arms, overtaxing your best guys and creating vulnerabilities. The Dodgers are eliminating those vulnerabilities. They're building a bullpen so deep that they can navigate any situation, any matchup, any high-leverage moment without breaking a sweat. And let's not forget the psychological impact. When you're an opposing hitter, and you know that if you don't score in the first 6 innings, you're done, that changes how you approach at-bats. You press. You try to do too much. You make mistakes. And that's exactly what the Dodgers are counting on. They're not just trying to win games. They're trying to break teams. They're trying to make opponents feel like the game is over before the final out is recorded. That's what a super bullpen does. That's what elite relief pitching looks like. So where does this leave us? Well, the framework is clear. The Dodgers have already signed Edwin Diaz. They've locked down Alex Vija and Buster Gratterall. And now they're targeting Trevor Medjugorje to complete the puzzle. If they can pull this off, if they can convince the Brewers to part with their all-star closer, we're looking at a bullpen that's historically dominant. And when you combine that with a rotation that could feature Ohtani, Yamamoto, Skubal, and Sasaki, plus an offense that features multiple MVPs, you're looking at a team that's virtually unbeatable. The report ends with a perfect line. For Dodgers fans, hopefully LA finds a way to make this proposal reality. For all other MLB fans, hopefully not. And honestly, that sums it up perfectly. Because if the Dodgers land Trevor Medjugorje, If they complete this super bullpen, the 2026 season might be over before it even starts. The rest of the league will be playing for second place. And that's exactly what Andrew Friedman is counting on. If this breakdown got your adrenaline pumping, do me a favor, smash that like button and drop a comment below. Do you think the Dodgers should go all in for Trevor Medgel and complete the super bullpen? Or is this overkill? Let me know what you think, because this is the kind of move that defines dynasties, and I want to hear from every single one of you. Let's go, Dodgers.